There's a pattern we must learn to see before it's too late. The signs are subtle but undeniable. If a man is using a woman, he will reveal it in ways that cannot be ignored. And here's why this matters. Identifying these behaviors early can save years of heartache, preserve your dignity, and help you reclaim your power. Stay with me as I uncover 5 critical behaviors that define such a man, and more importantly, how you can rise above them. Let me tell you something about emotional detachment. It isn't always obvious. At first, it might feel like nothing, like he's just a little quiet, maybe he's tired or preoccupied. But over time, you begin to feel it in the silence. It's in the way he doesn't ask about your day, in the way his eyes don't light up when you walk into the room. You'll catch it when you're pouring out your soul about something that matters to you, something real, and he just nods as if you're talking about the weather. And the worst part, you'll start questioning yourself. You'll wonder, am I asking for too much? Is it me? But deep down, you know it isn't. A man who's invested, who truly cares, doesn't hold back. He doesn't avoid showing his heart because he knows that love is in the showing. But when a man is using you, he keeps that part of himself locked away. Not because he's protecting you. No, he's protecting himself. Vulnerability would mean opening a door to accountability. And accountability, that's the one thing he doesn't want. You'll notice how he avoids the hard conversations. When you ask him where this is going, he'll dodge it with a laugh, or worse, with frustration. He'll make you feel like you're the one creating the problem by even bringing it up. And every time he pulls back, you'll reach out further, trying to close that gap, trying to make him see you, but he won't. Because he's not invested in seeing you, not really. He's invested in taking what he can, while giving as little as possible. And here's the truth you need to hear that's not love. Love isn't just words or gestures, it's a presence. It's being there fully with your heart and soul. If he's not bringing that to the table, then he's not in it for you. He's in it for himself, and that realization, it's hard, it hurts, but it's also your power, because once you see it, you can stop trying to fill the void he leaves. You can choose to fill it with your own worth instead. Now, manipulation. Manipulation is a whole different beast. It's not loud, it's not obvious, it's quiet, subtle. It's the whisper that makes you doubt yourself. It's the look he gives you when you ask for more, the one that says you're too much. And at first you'll dismiss it. You'll think, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe he's right, but let me tell you, he's not right. He's just good at making you believe he is. When a man is using manipulation, it's like he's playing a game where only he knows the rules. He'll make promises, big ones, beautiful ones. He'll tell you about the life you'll build together, about all the things he's going to do for you. And in those moments, you'll feel hope, you'll feel seen. But watch what he does, not what he says, what he does, because his actions will tell the real story. Those promises, they'll still stay just that, promises. Certainly. Words meant to keep you hanging on, but never meant to be fulfilled. And when you start to see the cracks, when you start to question, that's when the real manipulation begins. He'll turn it back on you. He'll say things like, you don't trust me. Why can't you just be happy? He'll make you feel like you're the one causing problems, and over time you'll start to believe it. You'll start to doubt your instincts, your feelings, your worth. But here's the thing about manipulation, it only works if you let it. The moment you start to see it for what it is, it loses its power. Because manipulation thrives on confusion, on insecurity. When you stand firm in who you are, when you trust your gut, you take that power back. And let me tell you, there is nothing more freeing than seeing through the lies and realizing you deserve so much more than someone who uses deceit to keep you. Inconsistency, though, that's where it gets tricky, because inconsistency isn't always a red flag right away. Sometimes it feels like spontaneity, like he's just unpredictable, keeping things exciting. But over time, that inconsistency starts to wear on you. It starts to feel like instability, like walking on a tightrope with no safety net. One day he's all in, he's calling, texting, making plans, he's saying all the right things, making you feel like you're the most important person in his world. And the next, he's gone. Not physically, maybe, but emotionally. He's distant, cold, unavailable. And you're left wondering what changed. You replay every conversation, every moment, trying to figure out where you went wrong. But the truth is, you didn't go wrong. He did. Inconsistency is a strategy. It's a way to keep you hooked, to keep you chasing the high of those good days, because when they come, they feel amazing. They make you forget the bad days, make you forgive the distance, the coldness. But here's what you need to understand. Love isn't supposed to feel like a roller coaster. It's not supposed to leave you questioning your worth every other day. Real love is steady. It's consistent. It's showing up every day, even when it's hard. And when a man is inconsistent, it's not because he's overwhelmed or confused or just not good at expressing himself. It's because he's not fully in it. He's giving you just enough to keep you around, but not enough to truly build something with you. And you deserve better than that. You deserve someone who doesn't make you question where you stand, someone who doesn't make you feel like you have to earn their attention, their love. So, pay attention to those patterns. Don't get caught up in the highs and ignore the lows. Because consistency isn't just a sign of love, it's a sign of respect, of commitment. And if he's not showing that, then he's not showing up for you. And that is your cue to step back and show up for yourself instead. When it comes to disregard for your needs, it often starts in small, almost imperceptible ways. Maybe it's the way he forgets something important to you, a date, a moment, something you shared. At first you let it slide. You tell yourself he's busy, distracted, that it's not a big deal, but then it happens again and again. And suddenly you're sitting there wondering if he even listens when you talk. Does he even care? Because someone who cares doesn't just listen, they hear you, they remember, they act. But a man who is using you, he's not thinking about your needs, he's thinking about his. Every choice, every action is about what benefits him, what's convenient for him. When you bring it up, when you tell him how you feel, he dismisses it. He might even laugh like your feelings are some kind of joke, and it cuts deep. Because you realize that in his world, your needs don't matter. And that's not love, that's selfishness. You deserve someone who sees you, who makes an effort to understand you, who cares enough to put your needs alongside their own. Someone who doesn't just expect you to bend and twist yourself to fit their life, but meets you halfway. Because love is a partnership, not a transaction. And if he's not willing to show up for you in that way, then he's not worth your time, your energy, your heart. Blame shifting, oh, that's a tough one, because it's so easy to get caught in the web of his words. He'll twist the narrative, turn it upside down until you're questioning everything. You'll come to him with a concern, something real, something that matters to you, and somehow by the end of the conversation, you're the one apologizing, you're the one saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. And he walks away scot-free. Let me tell you, that's not how accountability works. Accountability means owning your mistakes, your shortcomings. It means being able to say, I messed up. I'm sorry, I'll do better, but a man who's using you doesn't want to do better. He wants to deflect. He wants to make you feel like the problem so he doesn't have to face himself. And the more it happens, the more you start to internalize it. You start to believe that maybe you are the problem. Maybe you're too emotional, too demanding, too much, but you're not. You're just asking for what you deserve: respect, honesty, effort. And if he can't give you that, if all he can do is point fingers and play the victim, then he's not a man. He's a boy hiding behind excuses. Don't let him shift the blame onto you. Stand firm in your truth. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes, because your feelings are valid, your concerns are valid, and no amount of blame shifting can change that. A real man owns his part. A real man works with you, not against you. Remember that. And then there's the fleeting nature of his investment. You know what I mean? It's the way he'll show up when it's easy, when it's convenient, when it serves him. But the moment it requires effort, the moment it challenges him to step up, he's gone. His commitment is paper thin, dissolving the second it's tested. You see it in the way he talks about the future or doesn't. In the way his actions never quite match his words. He might say all the right things, paint you a picture of a life together, but when it comes time to actually build that life, he's nowhere to be found. And it's heartbreaking because you believed him. You believed in the vision he sold you, in the promises he made. But here's the thing about investment, it's not about words, it's about actions, it's about showing up day after day, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient. It's about building something real, something lasting. And if he's not doing that, if his investment is fleeting, then he's not truly in it. He's just passing through, taking what he can, and leaving you to pick up the pieces. You deserve someone who invests in you fully, wholeheartedly. Someone who doesn't just promise the world, but works to give it to you. Someone who doesn't run at the first sign of challenge, but stands beside you, ready to face it together. Because that is what real love looks like.